Just kick us off with Lachie Miller. What what's your take on him, and what will he bring to the side when he comes?
Yeah, we've done a lot of homework and a lot of research on Lachie as a player and a person, and he's certainly covered both those aspects. He's a really well regarded player at both NRL clubs that he's been at. Fast, broken field player. He's got a good level of skill, and we see a real upside to the fact that he's only been in the NRL system for a couple of years. That we feel like there's a lot of growth and improvement, and the way that we play can allow him to grow with the team.
Do you see him ostensibly as a fullback?
Yeah, he's a fullback that can play other positions. That's the way that we will see him. He'll be coming here to play fullback primarily at this point in time. He's a player that's going to bring some attributes to that position that we don't currently have, but we're also well equipped there with players that can play in support at fullback and also play other roles.
There's been some suggestion there might have been a stumbling block along the way. Has it been a tough deal to get over the line?
No, not really. When there was initial speculation around it, actually nothing had happened at that point. Nothing at all. There'd been no talks when the initial speculation happened. So it was actually quite a short negotiation, and we're grateful that the Knights saw and allowed Lachlan to take this opportunity, given that Ponga's become the fullback again at their place.
There's some obviously connections with Newcastle and Leeds with Danny Baderas, Brian McDermott. Did you sort of gauge their thoughts ahead of putting pen to paper?
No, I didn't. I know a few people that know Lachlan very well. I spoke to Craig Fitzgibbon briefly, who I know very well and trust his opinion. So that was enough for me. If Fitzy judges a character to be a really favourable, assessment, that's good enough for me. And then it turns out that a few players that I've coached and know really well know Lachlan, and they were talking about Leeds and myself and my style. So it was a good fit all around. Lachlan and I had some extensive conversations, and we're excited for him and his young family to come over and be part of what we're building.
Last week, I think it was West Tigers announced Aidan Caesar's joining them. Are you able to confirm that is indeed the case?
I'm pretty sure that's public. Yeah, that it's been announced everywhere. Aiden told me maybe a couple of weeks ago that was likely to happen. So we're very very happy for Aiden to sort of transition back to Aussie lifestyle by playing some NRL. He's been a good contributor and someone I've been well connected with since our time at the Titans together. So happy for Aiden.
So now Lachie Miller's in the bag. Does attention turn to a halfback in terms of recruitment?
Well, recruitment's it's an ongoing thing that we've been working on every day since I've been here. Recruitment and retention is ongoing. There's halfback stuff. They're not separate to each other. There's balls in the air and things bubbling away in the background. We'll continue to work on that. But we also see big improvement potential in the players that we have in our group as well. We've got some young players in those positions that we're looking, and we're hoping to add some experience to help the young kids develop as well.
On the retention front, then James Donaldson's earned himself an extra year. I mean, it's not been plain sailing for him this year. Just give us your insight into his journey this year.
Yeah, it's been difficult for a few of our middle forwards at various times. We've been reasonably healthy in the middle and for many parts of the season. So somebody's had to miss out a few times. Dono, and that's been Dono a couple of times. But I see, as I say to Dono all the time, his involvement and his contribution to the group goes above and beyond game day. Obviously, every player wants to be playing all the time, but Dono's a great dressing room guy. He's fantastic for the camaraderie and the spirit in the group. He's got good experience, both in life and football. He's had to work hard for everything that he's got. So, we're really excited to have Dono extending his deal and being rewarded by the club. The club is so respectful in that fact of creating that testimonial opportunity for Dono. So all round everyone in the club's happy.
We won't see your squad till Friday. Should we expect any notable changes?
Good question. No, there won't be massive changes. We've got a reasonably thin squad of experienced players. We might see a couple of young players get closer to a game this week, but mostly it'll be the same.
Morgan Gannon played for the reserves last week, didn't he? Does he come into your thinking for this weekend?
Yeah, Gano, fit and healthy Gano is always going to be part of the thinking. He got himself 25, 30 minutes in reserves. He's worked really hard on his rehab, but he's been out for a long time. So we're also conscious of timing things right, that he's had enough prep to go to battle.
Just give us your thoughts on the fixture then on Sunday. How do you feel about the Giants, and how significant is this fixture given where you both are on the table?
It's huge. It's another one. We had one with them not too long ago that was a huge fixture. And everyone since then's been equally as big for us. So, it's one game at a time for us, and it's going to be huge opportunity and huge challenge at the same time.
Who are the big indicators for Huddersfield, do you feel, at the moment?
They got a good team. They know what they're about. They got hardworking forwards, and they got some strike in their spine. And their outside backs are dangerous. So, you have to play well as a team to beat Huddersfield, because that they're very difficult to break down, and they're methodical with the way that they go about things.
Just lastly for me, Reese Martin will make his 100th Leeds appearance if he plays. Just quantify his contribution to the side at the moment.
Yeah, Reese has sort of made that transition to playing centre this year, and mostly centre. He's another guy that's great off the field, great in the dressing room and around the group. But his valuable contribution on the field is goal kicking. His defence has been excellent at centre, and he carries the ball with real threat, and he's a handful. So Reese has had a great stint at Leeds. He's never too far away from a good solid game. He's very consistent, both on and off the field. A real good club man.
You've just said obviously that Lachie's coming over to play out fullback. What are the implications there for Richie Moa, who's obviously played most of his recent rugby out fullback and's contracted for next year, and Luke Hooley as well?
Yeah, Richie's played a bunch of halfback in the time that I've been here, and he's played 300 games of halves over his career, I think. So he's got good versatility. He understands the situation, and there'll be opportunities for him to play in the halves next year, and to still be a fullback and cover there. We've always got to have depth in each position. So that's where that one's at.
If you don't sign a half, would you be comfortable to go into the season with Richie there?
Richie's shown that he can play that position. We have a good understanding of how we want to grow and build our attacking footy, and I think he really understands that. So if he ends up playing a bunch of halfback next year, that'll be good too.
Obviously, you've announced Dono this week. Any closer to decisions being made known on the other players coming out of contract?
There's a bunch of recruitment and retention things in the pipeline that are bubbling away, and some are close, and some are a bit of a work in progress. But there'll be news coming pretty soon.
How was James McDonald, who obviously got a bit of a knock? I think it was a back spasm, wasn't it, against Warrington?
Yeah, he's been a bit ginger early in the week, but he's got himself moving a little bit yesterday. So we'll see how he is today. He'll be in some doubt, but he'd like to think he's still a chance this weekend. But it's not a long-term thing at this point in time.
Could Harry Newman come into the reckoning from the start this week, I think he got about 50 minutes, didn't he, last week?
Yeah, he could do. I actually liked how he came into the game, and the speed of things and contribution changed when he came off the bench. So I don't see him as a bench player, but as part of his return to full match fitness, there's only so much training you can do to get yourself ready, and building back his minutes gradually is probably something we'll consider again.
Obviously, Morgan's return gives you another option at standoff. How do you feel Corey Johnson's handled it? Because it's not easy, is it, coming in as a young player at in a pivotal role like that?
No, it's not, and he spent a lot of his time over the last 12 months practicing at dummy half. He's done a fair bit of halfback in the last, playing standoff in the last couple of months. It's been a challenge for him, but I don't just look at the sort of attacking aspect of the game there. What he's been able to really contribute is good energy and good defense. He's competed well, and he's fit in. And some of the games that he's played in, we've won. So you've got to consider that his ability to fit in with some other experienced players and allow them to step forward and just play his role has been commendable. But yeah, we are sort of considering other options there as well as people return to full fitness and get some form under their belt in the lower grades.
You mentioned young players coming into consideration. Can you mention any names at this stage?
Yeah, the fit and able ones, Sinfield, Leon, Alfie Edgell, they're all, in the reckoning. Is they're only, one knock away from getting those opportunities, those kids. So they've bided their time well, and they're working hard, and they've done well in the lower grades. So if they get a turn, I'm happy to see that.